Market analysis, understanding your position in the market. This is part 2 of the market analysis lecture. And please note that now we are starting to talk about your company. So now we have analyzed the market, we know roughly what the market looks like, and now we're trying to understand which part of the market you will target and how you will go about to do that. In this lecture, we will look at market segmentation and diffusion of innovation, and we will look at competitive advantage. Then you will go on to watch some external videos to understand what a SWOT analysis is, and also to understand how big your market is, and that is building upon the videos that you saw in the first part of the lecture. So you have looked at total available market, and now you will look at the slice of that you will target. Okay. We start with something called market segmentation. That is basically understanding which part of the market you target, which customers you target, and trying to categorize them and trying to describe who they are. Are they all the same or are they different? Do you have more than one segment of the customer base that you target? What central dimensions may be used to segment your customers? Can you use sex, size, age, or something completely different and a bit more creative? Do you find your customers in some particular intersection or cross-section of different segments? Is it, for instance, females age of 12 and 13, something like that? Or do you add something more creative to that? This is one example of how you can kind of write down a market segment on one page. We have here the bargaining hunting mamas that could be interested in whatever it is that we are trying to sell, and they have written down they are best represented by women, often mothers, aged 35 to 45. How many do we have in the US population? Well, 24.6 million. What are their traits? They are responsible for household shopping, they are value-driven buyers. How can you nurture a relationship with them? It's also an interesting question to answer. Well, you could provide special offers and promotions and facilitate interaction with other mamas like them. Why are they important? Well, these mamas are eager to participate in an online community to research topics, share their knowledge, and receive offers and promotions. Incentivize them with coupons, and they will bring tremendous value to your community and brand. So the segment here, you can see here's the age. Also kind of what are they doing? They are looking for bargains. And they're also responsible for household shoppings and value driven. So there's a lot of things that kind of pinpoint which people it is that this company is targeting. And that could be described as a market segment. They could in this company have multiple market segments that they are trying to target, but they would then try to identify them separately in order to see that, okay, maybe we are trying to offer different things to different market segments, and we will kind of push different things when we brand ourselves and market ourselves towards a different segment. In order to understand whom you're going to target, you can do some market research. You can make interviews, have focus group, and focus group is basically you join together a few clients and let them sit and talk with you and with each other about their problem or whatever it is that you're interested in. You can make a survey, you can make observations, you can go to a place where you feel that, okay, this is where people experience this problem that we're trying to kind of remedy. How do they go about when they encounter this problem? What's happening? How can we kind of help them out here? You can go to social media, of course, as well. And the list can go on. You can use your creativity and imagination. So when you segment the customer base, you can also go back and look at the bell curve that represented the diffusion of innovation. You can perhaps recognize here that we have here customers. First, we have innovators here, early adopters, early majority, and laggards. And they have kind of both together, early adopters with early majority and early majority, late majority, something like that. And then they said that, okay, but this represents different stages in how you introduce a product. First, you have some product development, and then you perhaps don't have any clients. You might have people that try out whatever it is that you're doing, but they probably don't pay money for it. Then you kind of slowly introduce it on the market, and innovators might be interested. Then there's some kind of growth, hopefully. And then you target early adopters and early majority. Then you go to some kind of maturity phase, early majority, late majority, and after a while it's a decline. And then it might be the laggards that go into your service or products. And as you can see, this also reflects the profits and the sales. In the beginning, you do not have profit, but you're starting with the sales, and perhaps you have a lower price or something like that in the beginning to attract the innovators, or it's just that the fixed costs are so high so the profits are still low, and after a while the profit starts to go up and follow the sales. And then after a while it might be that the price is pressured or something like that, and the profits might go down, or it might also be that people are starting to go with another solution after a while. A lot of companies are very keen on having an active R&D department and an active R&D process, because they want to be on their toes to be there and kind of be able to offer the next new thing as well. Otherwise they will just lose their clients after a while. At least in theory, that is. And sometimes we talk about crossing the chasm, that it's kind of hard. It could be easy to attract the innovators and early adopters because they like new technology and they're kind of keen to reach the new technology. But then there is the idea of this chasm that is kind of hard to go into early majority, late majority and laggards, because these might be kind of content with the solution that they already have, and it might not be that keen on adopting a new technology. So when you're contemplating which market segment to target, it can be difficult to see who actually is your customer. And especially in the healthcare system, that could be hard, because there's a lot of people who is involved in this. The end client could be said to be patients in the healthcare sector, but then it's the medical doctors who have a lot of power over them, and they know basically what could be best, and patients listens a lot to medical doctors, so they might be the ones deciding whether or not to buy your product or not. But then again, in Europe, the healthcare system is abiding to the law of public procurement, and then it is procurement officials, procurement administrators who handle the public procurement. And these people are not specialists in healthcare. They know how to write deals and how to write requirement specifications and manage that process. So these are also part in this process of buying whatever it is that you are trying to sell. And then we have the politicians that guard the counties, at least in Sweden. And I think in many European countries the politicians are important. I've looked at Sweden and Italy myself, and the politicians are important factors in both countries. And these politicians might be indirectly influencing the procurement process, because they might give directives and regulations to the counties that the procurement officials have to abide to. And it might also be that these politicians think that something is so cool, so they kind of go beyond the procurement official, or they try to kind of push the procurement in their direction. And that has been the case in Sweden with robotic surgery, for instance. I talked with a surgeon who had been trying to get a robot to Västra Götaland, that is a county in Sweden, and he had tried for long because he thought that was a good thing. And then in the end, when the robot was bought, it was not because of him, it was because some politician thought that, well, that will be cool to have a robot here in our hospital. We need to have that for marketing reasons and because we think it's cool. So the politicians might actually play a part in the procurement of medical technology. And then we have other pharma and medtech companies who might actually have better connections to all of these, and it might be that you actually try to go around having to meddle with all of this, and then you target a pharma or medtech company. instead. So it can be kind of tricky in this market to find who you're trying to target and what your segment is, and it might be that you have to have thought about all of these players when you make your marketing plan. Now I'm going to mention competitive advantage, and I did that in the innovation lecture as well briefly, and now we're going to talk about it in relation to which strategy you can have when you target clients. And we're going to look at the generic strategy matrix. Here we have it, and I will go through it with you guys. This generic strategy matrix is once again something that Porter developed, and it's a way of gaining competitive advantage. In other words, developing the edge that gets you the sale and takes it away from your competitors. If we go through, you can see here we have strategic target. Do you have a narrow target or a wide target? Do you focus on a few clients or lots of clients? And which kind of competitive advantage will you have? Do you have low cost or do you have differentiation? I mean, you have something special that the others don't. And we will look at this four-fielder. If we start with the cost leadership strategy. The cost leadership strategy. That would mean increasing profits by reducing cost while charging industry average prices. Increasing market share through charging lower prices while still making a reasonable profit on each sale because you've reduced cost. And companies that are successful in achieving cost leadership, they usually have access to the capital needed to invest in technology that will bring costs down. They often have very effective logistics, and they have some kind of low cost base, low cost labor, materials, or facilities, and a way of sustainably cutting costs below those of other competitors. Then we go into the differentiation strategy. So here you targeted a wide audience and you still do that, but now with differentiation. And this involves making your product or service different from and more attractive than those of your competitors. How you do this, that depends on the exact nature of your industry and the products and services themselves, but will typically involve features, functionality, durability, support, and also brand image that your customers value. And in order to be successful with this strategy, organizations need good research, development, and innovation, the ability to deliver high-quality products or services, effective sales and marketing so that the market understands the benefit offered by the differentiating offering. Large organizations pursuing a differentiation strategy need to stay agile with their new product development processes. Otherwise, they risk attacks on several fronts by competitors pursuing focused differentiation strategies in different market segments. And what is this focus strategy then? Well, the focus strategy, that is actually goes. What is focus strategy then? It goes for both of these, the narrow focus. Companies that use focus strategies concentrate on particular niche markets, and by understanding the dynamics of the market and the unique needs of the customers within it, they develop uniquely low cost, which would be this one, or well specified, that would be this one, differentiation for well specified products for the market. Because they serve customers in their market uniquely well, they tend to build strong brand loyalty amongst their clients and customers. This makes their particular market segment less attractive to competitors. So this is different strategies that you can think about when you think about which segment to target. Do you have a narrow segment, then it is these kind of strategies that you can go for, and then you need kind of a narrow description of your segment, your market segment. If you have a wide target, then you might have a wider description of your market segment. You might not go into so much detail as you would do with a narrow focus. And that was all for my part of the lecture. Now I leave on to the two other external videos that you will look at. First the SWOT analysis, and then you will look at the SAM, the serviceable available market of the segment. And I think and then you will look at the portion of the market that you will target, building on what you learned earlier about TAM, total addressable market, total available market. Okay, good luck.